Have you ever had a job where you felt, genuinely trusted, like really motivated, empowered to actually make a difference?
Yeah, where you felt your ideas mattered, your work counted.
Exactly. Or maybe you've been on the flip side, that job where every task feels like a drag.
Yeah.
You're constantly being watched, just waiting for the clock to hit 5.
Definitely. It raises that big question, doesn't it? What really motivates us at work? Is it like external pressure or something deeper, something internal?
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of management philosophies. Basically, two really different ways of thinking about what makes people tick at work.
And crucially, how those beliefs, those core assumptions, don't just guide a manager's actions, but they really shape the whole feel of a place, the culture.
Absolutely. We're getting into the heart of how people are led and, honestly, how they feel about their job, all based on what their boss believes about them.
It's fascinating, really, how deep these beliefs go. It's not just about rules or, posters on the wall.
Yep.
It's about fundamental assumptions about people. Are they naturally driven, or do they need constant pushing?
So for this deep dive, we've looked at insights from actual managers, their experiences, and we've woven that together with some, foundational theories in management.
Yeah, some classic ideas.
Our mission today is to sort of break down these contrasting approaches, understand what they're built on, and help you spot them out in the wild.
Whether you're leading or part of a team or maybe just observing.
We want to explore how these beliefs affect motivation, job satisfaction, and just the general vibe in a company.
The overall well-being or the lack of it. It's a really useful lens for thinking about your own work life.
Okay, let's start with an example. Picture a busy car rental place. Fast-paced customer focus is key. And here we meet Yolanda. She's a senior manager, and her style is all about trust and empowerment.
Right. So Yolanda starts from this belief, this deep-seated belief, that her team is inherently motivated.
Yeah, she genuinely thinks that if you create the right conditions, people can find satisfaction in what they do.
And this isn't just like a nice thought. It shapes her whole strategy.
How so?
Well, her approach is built around giving people real responsibility, actual ownership, and encouraging them to take initiative.
So less about checking every little thing.
Exactly. Instead of a rigid script for every single customer issue, her team is empowered. They can resolve things on the spot, within certain boundaries, obviously.
Without needing her okay for every small decision.
Right. Handling booking changes, minor complaints, even deciding which car goes where, that kind of thing.
That feels pretty different from a lot of customer service roles.
Yeah.
She actually said, and this is a direct quote, "We give them responsibility, which means that the decisions they take have a direct impact on our success."
That's key. Direct impact.
And encourage them to use their initiative so they don't have to ask me about every decision they make.
Think about that. The freedom, but also the weight of that. It's a clear signal. I trust you.
Definitely. And the intended impact on the employees is that they feel valued.
Right.
Their effort matters.
Precisely. It's recognized as crucial. We've seen this elsewhere, too. When people feel that trust, they often step up, they find solutions, spot efficiencies.
Maybe even take on leadership roles informally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they know their initiative is welcomed, even celebrated. Yolanda connects this directly to a higher sense of motivation, better morale, less absenteeism.
And just a generally better feeling in the organization, as she put
That
it.
general feeling of well-being.
Just imagine working like that. You walk in, you know you're trusted, your ideas are welcome, your manager believes you want to do a good job.
And give you the space and support to do it.
How would that change your day, your engagement, your willingness to, go the extra mile?
For most people, I think that sounds pretty good. Energizing, a place where you can actually, grow.
Psychologically safe, too.
Right. And connecting this to the bigger picture, the psychology of it all, Yolanda's tapping into basic human needs. Autonomy, mastery, purpose.
That feeling of control over your own work.
Exactly. When people feel ownership, agency, their motivation comes from within. It's intrinsic.
And that's way more powerful than just, a bonus or the threat of being disciplined.
Much more sustainable, yeah. It creates an environment where people aren't just clocking in and out. They're invested. They're developing skills, engaging fully.
It requires work from the manager, too, right? Not micromanaging, but...
No, absolutely. It requires good initial training, clear goals, making sure support is there when things go wrong, because they will.
So equipping people, not just letting them loose.
Precisely. Supporting them through challenges.
Okay. Now, let's Let's switch gears completely.
Deep shift coming.
We go from Yolanda's rental firm to a factory floor, and we meet Xavier, the manager there. His views, stark contrast.
Night and day, really. Where Yolanda fosters motivation, Xavier. Well, he kind of dismisses it. It says it's soft, unnecessary talk.
He actually said, I don't believe in all this talk about motivation.
Yep. And his view of his team, and notice the word he uses, subordinates.
Yeah, that word itself says a lot. Hierarchy.
It does. He sees them as, and this is his quote, basically lazy and need constant supervision.
Wow.
We have to check on what they are doing all the time. That's his core belief.
So it's not just a difference in style. It's a fundamental disagreement about, well, people, human nature at work.
Totally. And he knows it sounds harsh. He anticipates the criticism.
What does he say?
He says, some people think this is authoritarian, but I think it's the only way of managing. Yeah. And then he lays out his method. Decisions must be imposed from above without consultation.
No discussion.
Nope. We don't discuss decisions with workers. We just tell them what to do. Pure command and control. Top down. No input allowed.
So forget initiative or agency.
Completely discouraged. If you start believing your team is lazy, unmotivated, what do?
You control everything. Strict rules, constant monitoring.
Exactly. Clocking breaks, maybe tracking movements, quick punishments for any deviation from the prescribed way of doing things.
No room to ask why or suggest a better way.
Just compliance. That's the goal. Compliance through external pressure.
Think about working there. Constantly watched, orders handed down, no voice, no room for your own judgment.
Like, it feels incredibly different from Yolanda's place, doesn't it?
Totally stifling. You can imagine it leads to resentment, people just doing the bare minimum.
Just enough to not get in trouble. We see it in places like this: high turnover, more mistakes, because people aren't invested.
Just a general air of distrust, probably.
Palpable, often. And that word subordinates again. It frames people by their rank, not their potential contribution.
It reflects that whole belief system. Authority flows one way down. Your job is to do, not think.
It's subtle, but it speaks volumes about those underlying assumptions. Capability, trustworthiness, or the lack thereof.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because these aren't just, Yolanda's and Xavier's personal quirks.
No, not at all.
These management styles connect to some really big foundational ideas about people at work.
Exactly. Which brings us to Douglas McGregor. He was a U.S. management thinker back in the 60s.
Right, and he laid out these two theories that just perfectly capture what we see with Yolanda and Xavier.
His work came about when people were starting to rethink that old-school industrial management style, looking more at the human side of things.
So Xavier's approach, the control, the supervision, the assumption of laziness,
fits perfectly with what McGregor called Theory X.
Theory X, and what's the core idea there?
It's a pretty pessimistic view, really. It assumes people fundamentally dislike work. They'll avoid it if they can.
So under Theory X, you have to manage tightly.
Basically, yeah. People need to be pushed, controlled, directed, even threatened with punishment to get them to actually work towards the company's goals.
They avoid responsibility, don't have much ambition, prefer being told what to do.
That's the assumption. So the management implications are clear. Be directive, use strict procedures, monitor closely, have clear rewards and punishments.
No room for trust there.
Very little. Because the base assumption is you can't trust people to be self-motivated. Think about old assembly lines.
Right. Breaking tasks down, workers as cogs.
Exactly. Heavily influenced by Theory X thinking. It can work for very routine stuff, sure, but often at a high cost. Morale suffers, adaptability goes out the window.
Okay, so that's Xavier and Theory X. Now, Yolanda. Her style, the empowerment, the trust.
That lines up beautifully with McGregor's Theory Y.
Theory Y. And he saw this as more advanced, more optimistic.
Definitely. Theory Y starts from a different place. It assumes that, given the right conditions, work can be satisfying, enjoyable even.
As natural as play or rest.
If it's engaging and has purpose, yes, that's the idea.
So under Theory Y, people aren't inherently lazy.
Quite the opposite. Theory Y suggests people are capable of self-direction, self-control, especially if they're committed to the goals.
And they actually want responsibility.
They seek it out. They want to contribute their creativity, their intelligence, often totally underused in many jobs.
So management's role changes completely.
Totally. It shifts from controlling to, well, facilitating, supporting.
Meaning things like delegation, letting people participate in decisions.
Decentralization, yeah. Getting employees involved in shaping their own work. Think about like modern agile teams or R&D labs.
Where initiative and expertise are valued.
Exactly. Theory Y environments.
So, okay, what does this all mean for us? We've got these two really powerful, almost opposite views of what drives us at work.
One says we need pushing and watching. The other says we want to contribute and find satisfaction if we're allowed to.
And like we saw with Yolanda and Xavier, these aren't just abstract ideas. They play out every day, affecting real people, real organizations.
Right. And McGregor's work really highlights that a manager's success might depend less on their specific actions.
Like the tasks they assign or the exact policies?
Yeah. And more on their underlying beliefs about people, those often unspoken assumptions.
They're like the invisible architecture of the company culture.
That's a great way to put it. They shape everything. And it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
How so?
Well, if you treat people like they're lazy and untrustworthy Theory X style, they'll probably act that way eventually. Resentful, doing the minimum.
But if you treat them as capable and motivated Theory Y style,
they often rise to meet that expectation.
That's a really critical point. It's not just what managers do, it's what they truly believe about their people.
Exactly. And it's probably not always black and white, is it?
No, I guess not. A manager might use bits of both, or shift, depending on the situation.
For sure. No place is purely one or the other. There's a spectrum. Some tasks might need clearer directives, like, say, safety procedures.
Right. Some things aren't really up for debate.
But even then, the way those directives are communicated makes a difference. Is it about control? Or is it about ensuring quality for a goal everyone shares?
Ah, the spirit behind it.
Yes. The challenge for leaders is to really look at their own assumptions, their implicit theories, and think, how can I create more Theory Y conditions, even if the environment feels traditionally Theory X? How do I unlock more potential?
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, let's quickly recap.
Good idea.
We started with Yolanda. Trust, empowerment, belief, and motivation, leading to better morale, well-being.
Then we flipped to Xavier. Command, control, belief people are lazy, constant supervision, decisions from the top.
And we connected these to McGregor's theories. Xavier lining up with Theory X, people dislike work, need control.
And Yolanda mirroring theory, why people can find satisfaction, are capable of self-direction.
And these are just academic labels. They're real ways leaders see their teams, and it shapes everything.
Understanding them helps us kind of decode what's going on in our own workplaces, the hidden messages, the expectations, how we're valued, what chances we get.
So as you go through your week, maybe take a moment to observe. Which theory feels more dominant where you work?
Are you in more of a Yolanda world or a Xavier world?
Or even, how do you approach things, your own tasks, or if you manage a team? What are your default assumptions about people, about yourself?
Are you leaning more Theory X or Theory Y, maybe without even thinking about it?
Which leads to a final thought to maybe chew on. If a manager's core belief, maybe one they haven't even examined, can impact a whole organization's morale and productivity so much, what happens if we start consciously challenging our own assumptions about our colleagues, about ourselves?
What potential could be unlocked if we shifted our default view from seeing work as something to be avoided to something that could offer satisfaction?
How might that change how we lead, how we collaborate, how we just show up each day?
What if that person you think is lazy isn't actually lazy at all? What if they're a Theory Y person stuck in a Theory X system?
A really powerful thought. Something that could really change things, not just at work, but for our own careers.
Absolutely.
So this deep dive looked at how these fundamental beliefs about people really underpin management. Understanding them might just help us all create better ways to work.
Hope so.
Thanks for joining us.